Okay, so hello, Mark.
Hi,
Um,
Heidi.
I've got a few questions for you about
Sure.
dynamic craniosacral therapy. So, my first question is, how did you get into and discover this work?
Great. I think it's probably about 10 years actually that I've been working as a craniosacral therapist now, which feels like it's gone very fast. But before I became a craniosacral therapist, I did quite a different job. I actually used to work as a legal researcher in an international human rights organization, which was work that I enjoyed. I did it for about 13 years. It was quite rewarding, but it was also quite stressful, dealing with human rights issues on a day-to-day basis. And obviously, I was dealing with people in quite difficult situations as well. So people who have been traumatized, refugees, prisoners, survivors of abuse, that kind of thing. And I've been trained how to do that work as a researcher, but I hadn't really been trained how to deal with the energy side of things, dealing with people who had been in very, very difficult situations. So it was quite stressful, and it was a gradual sense of just feeling like I needed to take a break. So after about 13 years, I realized, my motivation had waned a bit. I was waking up with a sinking feeling in my stomach, and I didn't quite understand why. So I decided to take a break from that work, and that's really when I discovered craniosacral therapy. I just had one session actually with a craniosacral therapist, and it made such a big difference for me. Um, all she did really was held my head, and she was telling me what she was feeling happening inside, not just my head, but other parts of my body as well. And I remember my head decided that it needed to move, and she supported my head make all of these movements. And I felt a lot of space opening up down the side of my neck. And afterwards, it felt like I almost felt like I had a sort of different body. Certainly, my posture had changed. I kind of moved from being like this to kind of sitting up. It's making me want to sit up now. And that's when I decided I wanted to learn it for myself, really.
That's quite a profound experience that you're describing. Thank you. Um,
Yeah,
so,
it's
oh, go ahead.
it's interesting because I think you need to experience it really to fully appreciate the value of it. Craniosacral therapy. We can describe it in sort of scientific and technical terms, but it's actually the experience of it that is really the proof of the pudding, if you like. And that was enough, just one session, and I felt like, okay, I would love to learn this. Partly because I could see that it would be powerful for the kind of people that I'd been dealing with in my previous jobs. So people who have been in very traumatic situations can really benefit from this therapy.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Very moving, actually, around the impact that it had on you personally and how that shifted you up in one session. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, on that note, as a therapist, what do you notice happens with your clients with this work?
Oh, well, I mean, I see clients with many different kinds of issues, health issues, obviously. Commonly, clients come to me with things like lower back pain, sciatica, so nerve pain, even things like just anxiety, depression, insomnia. And actually, I think these issues are increasing given the state of the world at the moment, which feels pretty stressful for many of us. So every client is different, but almost everyone benefits from the therapy. And sometimes, a bit like me, after only one session, you can see quite a big transformation. And when the clients get up from the table after the session, they tend to feel a lot more relaxed, a lot more connected. And you can see visibly that they look a lot more grounded and settled in their body. And because BCST, craniosacral therapy, is holistic, We're obviously relating to the whole person, the mind, the body, and the spirit. And, you know, for example, I had one client who discovered that his depression, which he'd been suffering with for many, many years, may be linked to a period in his life when he was a teenager, when he had to wear a very tight brace for his teeth, which actually went around his head. And in our sessions, the first thing that happened was that his jaw started to relax. So we did quite a lot of work around his jaw and his head. And then gradually his depression started to improve. He was able to go out and socialize more than before. But the interesting thing for me was that he'd actually come to me for something different, which was actually sciatica, nerve pain down his leg. But it was his jaw that needed to adjust and to soften first. And then eventually we were working more with his pelvis and his leg, and his sciatica improved.
Wow. Yeah, the priorities that that the body expresses in all of its deep intelligence. That's a great story to share with that, and the relief of so many different aspects, the emotion and the physicality as well with that client. It's a
Definitely,
share around that. Yeah. Um,
definitely.
yeah. So obviously that's quite exciting. So what are the aspects of BCST that excite you the most, Mark?
Oh goodness, it's a big question, really. I think what I really love about BCST is that we focus on health rather than illness. And it's a real principle of our therapy that we believe that health is always present, even if, you know, it may be compromised, it may be restricted by other conditions, including illness, accidents, that kind of thing. And as craniosacral therapists, we're really trained to use our hands, our felt sense, to listen to subtle movements of health in the body, subtle movements of tissues, but also fluids, energy, which we call potency. And it's really the quality of our touch and the quality of our presence that encourages the body to find deeper layers of health and begin to express them. And of course, as this happens, the tissues start to change, the tissues start to adjust. And the health conditions, whether it's pain, illness, anxiety, that kind of thing, they tend to improve. So that means we don't need to diagnose anything, and I'm not qualified to diagnose anything, but I am really qualified to listen to health. And I love listening to health because that benefits me almost as much as my client.
Yeah, as you were describing that, I was checking in even with my body, and just that description of the health and the potency, that shifting of awareness back to that. I could feel my system. I'm like taking bigger breaths, and that is very exciting, and really to orient to health is quite a unique way to work with the body in this milieu of stress
Mm.
and sort of medicalizing of the body. So yeah, I appreciate what you're saying there, and I certainly resonate with that literally in my body as I'm listening to you. So thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.